Welcome to this live stream from First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. Our mission is to love radically, grow ethically and spiritually, and serve justly. We invite you to visit our website at www.ucdsm.org. It's a great way to explore all that our church has to offer, from adult programs, to religious education, to social justice work, and more. But the best way to know us is to visit on a Sunday. We'd love to get to know you over a cup of coffee after the service. Speaking of which, today's service will begin shortly. So now we'll take you inside.
Hear these words from Kate Steinberg. Beloved companions, we arrive in this place where all we have to do is breathe. We don't have to impress or convince or win over. We don't have to know the words. It's okay we didn't read the book, or pass that class, or carry that title, or meet that mark. We don't have to be anything but who we are. Here we rest in essence together, and to move into this communal rest, we lay down our burdens, our longing, our craving, our unmet need, our error, our regret, our sudden disappointment, our anxiety, our shame, our sheer exhaustion, our bewilderment, our bafflement, our burgeoning terror. All of this we lay down together today.
As we do this, may we be filled instead with presence. May we feel held in the comfort of our community. May we discover new compassion for ourselves and others. May we meet this moment with gentleness, ease, and gratitude for this air we breathe together, for these questions we ask together, for the justice we seek together, for the songs we sing together. Please join with me in the chalice lighting words in your order of service. As we light this chalice, we honor this time to connect with one another and within ourselves. May we cultivate compassion and loving kindness with one another and within ourselves. And now let us pass the peace. If you would prefer a little personal space, simply remain seated and your neighbors will most likely take the cue and leave you in peace. Please remain standing as we sing new hymn 1060 in the blue hymnals.
As we sing of hope and joy today, some know only anguish and despair. How can we lift our voices in this way while some have pain and misery to spare? If a crumbling world we would renew, we must sing no ordinary song. Peals from a noisy gong will never do. In every breath compassion must belong. Let this song our greatest hopes contain, laughter of a well-fed child, its tune moves over every heartbeat, its refrain, its harmony from peaceful cities hewn. Sing of joy while hammering each nail. Sing of hope while pulling every weed. So shall we sing together and prevail. May every hallelujah bear us seed.
We thought we'd challenge you with a new one. Good morning. I'm Louise Alcorn, she, hers, your co-celebrant this morning.
And I'm Diane Ford, she, hers, and the other one.
We welcome all people who welcome all people. We welcome all genders, ethnicities, bodies, and stories. Whatever you are carrying with you, whatever you long to set down or pick up today, may you find here the love, support, and encouragement you seek. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you like, you can raise your hand so we can greet you. Anyone? All right. So everyone, just a quick heads up for coffee hour. If you're new around here, or if you've been a regular for so long, you remember when we met outdoors in the summer. If you're tired of the same old how's the weather conversation, or did you get here through the marathon conversation this morning, we have a solution. We're offering a new high-tech piece of social equipment, the Let's Talk mug. Do we have one here? It's a vibrant, conversation-starting yellow beacon of hope. What does it do, you ask? It tells the world, hey, I'm not just here for the free coffee, I'm here to meet you. It's a silent signal that says, yes, please interrupt my intensely focused mug staring. And most importantly, it prevents you from having to resort to asking people if they're new just to strike up a conversation. So we've all been there, and it's okay, but let's evolve. So grab a mug, pour yourself a caffeinated or non-caffeinated beverage of choice, and let's get mingling. Who knows, you might make a friend, or at least learn which are the best cookies today.
And now let us deepen our awareness of this place and season. Our First Unitarian Church is located on land that has been home to people of woodland culture for 12,000 years, including the Iowa, Sauk, and Meskwaki. Centering ourselves in our place in the cosmos, the moon is waning crescent. As a pluralistic tradition, we honor religious holidays being held this week around the world. The Assamese People's Harvest Festival in India is called Kati Bihu. Diwali is a major festival of lights celebrated by Hindus, Jains, and Sikhs. The Baha'i Holy Day honors the birth of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the faith. St. Luke's Day honors the Christian physician and evangelist Luke. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't have a statement of belief or creed. Instead, our community is held together in love by covenant. This means affirming and reaffirming our commitment to one another. This means we try to put love at the center of our actions. Please join me in speaking together the mission of the First Unitarian Church of Des Moines. We covenant together to advance our mission to love radically, grow ethically and spiritually, and serve justly. And now the Bell Avenue Ringers.
called The World Needs More Purple People, Truth. So if any young people would like to join her up here at the corner, you can just go around the bells and hang out with her to listen to this story. Come on down.
Sit on the stage stairs too. We can have some people sit on the stairs too. Yeah, it gets a little crowded. Scooch right here. Sorry, we got to squeeze in a little bit today. Today's story is The World Needs More Purple People. Ta-da! Follow my guide to become a purple person. How to Be a Purple Person by Penny. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the world would I want to be purple? Purple is a magic color made when red and blue work together. I think all best things in the world are purple. But you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with people? Wow, are you a genius? Because you're already on your way to becoming a purple person. You want to know why? Step 1, ask really great questions. My dad says purple people ask great questions. Questions about everything, even questions about questions. Hey, Dad, how far away is outer space? Have you ever met a dolphin? How many dolphins live in outer space? Purple questions are the kind that help you learn something really big about the world or something really small about another person. How tall is the world's tallest rainbow? What's your bear's name? Charlie. Dad says the more purple questions you ask, the more purple you become. How many do you think there are? He also says I can only ask him 20 questions about space dolphins per day. Step 2, laugh a lot. My grandma says purple people laugh a lot. We are always laughing together. I mean, like snot out of our nose laughing. We laugh at books. We laugh at jokes. How do you make a tissue dance? You put a little boogie in it. We laugh at donkey dances and hairy elephant knees. And we especially laugh at Grandma's funny noises. Purple laughing helps us remember the things we share and forget what we thought made us different. And it's almost impossible to be angry when you are laughing. Try it. I dare you. Grandma says the more purple laughing you do, the more purple you become. She also says Grandpa's noises are her favorite funny noises in the whole wide world. Step 3, use your voice and don't lose your voice. My mom says purple people use their voice and don't lose their voice. She encourages me to use my voice to sing. My dad is the one with the hairy chest who loves me more than all the rest. To give good ideas, let's wear monster costumes to school. And to share my opinions, I personally feel like we shouldn't have to eat Brussels sprouts because they smell like sweaty socks. Sometimes people lose their voices, and that's okay. It happens. A purple voice helps someone who is having a trouble finding their own voice. Purple people don't just speak up, they also listen. Maybe you could tell them you don't like it when they call you that name. Want me to help you? Tell them yourself. Mom says the more you use a purple voice, the more purple you become. Mom, can you help me with my play? She also says she heard my opinion on Brussels sprouts, but I still have to eat them. I'm going to work on my argument a little bit better. Purple work is the kind of work that's done together to change something that needs changing. What do we want? More playgrounds. When do we want them? Now. Fix something that needs fixing, or help someone who needs helping. Grandpa says the more purple work you do, the more purple you become. He also says no purple work has ever been done while sitting on your backside, sipping strawberry lemonade. Okay, are you ready for the last step? Are you ready? Are you sure? Are you sure you're sure? Are you really, really ready? Okay, drum roll, please. Step 5, paint yourself purple.
Seriously?
Just kidding. That's not the way to become a purple person. Actually, being a purple person has nothing to do with what you look like. My teacher says purple people come in all sorts of ways. They are big and small, old and young. Some wear cool coats. Some wear shorts with lots of pockets. And some wear funny hats. She says some purple people feel blue sometimes and red other times. And some purple people even have green hair.
Green hair.
Step 5. Just be the real you. Like my teacher says, purple people come in every color you can dream of and every size you can think of. The only way to be a purple is to just be you, because you're the only you we got. So those are my surefire steps to turning into a purple person. Hey, wait a minute. You ask really great questions. You laugh a lot. You use your voice all the time. You are a really hard worker. And you are totally you. Well, I'll be a llama's mama. You've been beautifully purple this whole time. I sure am glad you're a purple person, because the world needs more purple people, just like you. Go ahead.
Go in joy, go in peace to meet the day. With open hearts embrace life's wonders. We will guide you, we will love you on your way.
And now we have a couple of spotlights. Susan Jellinger first.
Isn't it great that we're running out of space down here? Yeah. Yes, my name is Susan Jellinger. My pronouns are she and hers. And I've been a member of CUPS since the beginning. You know, we are following that sixth source of affirmation, spiritual traditions, the teachings of earth-centered traditions, which celebrate this sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. You know, this church has a full history of earth-centered activity. When I first started coming to the church back in the early 80s, Cynthia Lee was leading some groups. She had a group called the Wandering Ones. She did moon circles. I think she and some others, I did it once, had the UU curriculum, Cakes for the Queen of Heaven. Tasty stuff. Then, over time, Maureen Dion and Kelly Patterson started a group called Vision Quest, exploring Native American spirituality. In the 2000s, I think it was around 2010, David Quinn, Zach and Janelle Bailey, Don and Tori Godfrey, Pamela Backstrom, Kelly Patterson, I forgot, Andrea Quinn, who is now Andrea Lemieux also. We all met with some others to start a CUPS chapter. And it became Sacred Bridges Covenant of Unitarian Universalist Pagans. It's a mouthful, so we just say CUPS. You can sip on that one easily. David was the driving force. He crafted the labyrinth. I don't know if you've been out to the meditation meadow, if you've been out in the woods out there. He laid down, and others, laid down the labyrinth, and it was a work of love and of spiritual quest. David died in 2015, and his legacy continued, but you know, CUPS floundered a bit after that. But then others took up the mantle. We had officers, and so for the last 10 years, we've been an interesting and vital group within the church. But the last year and a half, we've kind of floundered. But I think Gwen Hope was our last officer, and she was doing rituals for us. Pam Backstrom and I, Andrea might be coming back too, wanted to revive and renew the CUPS group. So if you've ever thought about coming out to dance the maypole, sing some solstice songs, honor your ancestors by going to a Samhain ritual. Maybe you want to go into meditation, to the meditation circle and the labyrinth. Well, it's all possible. Paganism is a huge umbrella. We've got groups here in church, and we hope to collaborate along with them. Maybe you've heard about Centering in Nature, kind of a continuation of Reverend Laura Kim's group. I've talked with Linda Lemons. We're going to work with them. Diane, I think of the years that you did building and grounds. CUPS people have been involved in that. We've had ceremonies and rituals and classes and workshops throughout this whole time. We've always had at least a dozen church members who've been involved, but we've had anywhere up to 80 other folks from around the community come. Like I said, paganism is a huge umbrella. If you would like to learn a little bit more, if you'd like to help renew and revive the CUPS chapter, I'm going to be sitting at a table afterwards. Come and meet me. Thank you. And now, part 2 of the Spotlight.
Ad astra per aspera, ad astra per aspera, ad astra. Good morning.
I'm Karen Kramer, she, her, and choir director of the Bell Avenue Ringers and the UU Singers. The words I just sang is the motto for the state of Kansas, which means to the stars through difficulties. And it will be one of the songs you'll hear the UU Singers sing next Sunday morning after the morning service at 11 o'clock right here in the auditorium. The UU Singers will be singing a concert for the benefit of the Dare to Dream campaign. This concert will be in place of a forum that morning. These words, ad astra per aspera, seems to be a fitting motto for our Dare to Dream campaign, too. First, we find asbestos in the lower level, and now mold. To the stars through difficulties. But we are well on our way, and we will get there thanks to the support and generosity of this entire congregation, our supportive board of trustees, and our minister. So prepare yourself for a concert where the choir will dazzle you with their almost perfect pitch and enthusiastic harmonies next Sunday at 11 o'clock. A goodwill offering will be taken to benefit the Dare to Dream campaign. Please join us for a joyful celebration of music and a very worthy cause. Ad astra per aspera. Thank you.
We'll have the joys and concerns now. Joys and sorrows.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying everything else going on, not paying attention. I'm Ellen Taylor, she, hers, a pastoral care associate for our congregation. Sometimes we experience big changes in our lives, and we need a good listener to talk to. If you're feeling overwhelmed, lost, or alone in your grief, please call the pastoral care team. You can reach out to us at pastoralcareteam@ucdsm.org. You can also request assistance or submit a joy or sorrow through the Caring Community page on our website, or by speaking to me or any member of the pastoral care team. This week, we are holding the following joys and sorrows in the care of this community. We have a deep sorrow to share this morning that Volker Liebeseller died peacefully, surrounded by family at Iowa Methodist Medical Center on this last Wednesday, the 15th. May his memory be a blessing and a comfort to all who knew and loved him. Let us hold his wife, Kelly Patterson, and daughters, Leah and Laurel, in our hearts and surround them with love and support as they grieve this deep loss. His service will be held this Tuesday, October 21st at 5 p.m. at First Unitarian, followed by a brief reception. Afterward, the family invites people to join them at the Hessen House downtown for further sharing and remembering. Life has a way of giving us both joy and sorrow, sometimes all at once. As we hold Volker's family in their sorrow, let us also take a moment to lift up a joy shared with us this week. John and Anna Lemons are proud to announce the birth of their son, Arthur Lee Lemons, born on Thursday morning, October 16th. Arthur is the grandson of Roger and Linda Lemons and the brother of Margot. We are all excited to welcome him and so happy everyone is doing well. Congratulations to the Lemons family and a warm welcome to the world, Arthur Lee. And a reminder that the Caring Community team will host a special 90-minute forum after this service for viewing a documentary, Speaking Grief, with details on the backside of your order of service. For all who are sick, suffering, healing, or recovering, we hold you in comfort and care. For those who are grieving, we wish you sustaining moments of peace. For those facing seemingly insurmountable challenges or decisions, we see your bravest self and we are with you. for facing a world in turmoil, we move forward together in love. We recognize that to live in this world means that we are all experiencing both joy and sorrow. And so we take this moment to share aloud or in writing the names of those you are carrying in your heart today.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
We now light 3 candles, one for the joys and sorrows shared aloud, one for those shared in writing, and one for those held silently among us. For all of these, we now observe a moment of silence.
Our first reading is called Compassion by Kaylee Griffin. The words compassion and kindness are sometimes used interchangeably, but the 2 words have distinctive meanings. Kindness is defined as being friendly, generous, and considerate without expecting reward. Compassion, on the other hand, is a sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it, according to Merriam-Webster. For many people, trying to support or alleviate the problems of others when they are dealing with their own busy lives and self-care, it's important to look outward and focus on others. It may feel impossible, but once someone has practiced self-preservation and self-care, it is easier. It may seem like we're all living in our own little worlds, but at the end of the day, we are all connected and directly impacted by the choices of others. When we take an interest in the plights and struggles of others and act compassionately, we are often not only helping other people, but also helping ourselves. A simple act of compassion can make a positive impact on someone else's day. Extending yourself in compassion to another human being changes the nature of your relationship. The acknowledgement of one human being to another is what bonds, strengthens, and expands the human connection.
In the spirit of gratitude, I'm going to read a few of the cards currently on our Singing Gratitude bulletin board. And remember, you can always write up a card and put it on that board if someone's done something compassionate to help you out. I am grateful for Elijah Evans for going above and beyond his celebrant role, stepping in to support staff when needed, collecting flowers for flower communion, leading curiosity conversations. Thank you, Elijah, for your generous spirit and willingness to serve. And this one may very well be my favorite one that's ever been on this board. Dave. He's Dave Whitkey. What else is there to say? Our work of supporting First Unitarian's mission in the world shows up in 3 different ways. Financially, we support the operations of the church with our yearly pledges. We support the future of the church with our capital campaign and endowment. And we share in grassroots efforts like our fundraiser for the Iowa Trans Mutual Aid Fund. We practice our value of generosity every Sunday by passing the plate. In gratitude, then, we give. For in gratitude we receive.
Our second reading is The Best Kept Secrets to Happiness and Health by Emma Seppala. One reason compassion makes us happy is by broadening our perspective beyond ourselves. We know from research on anxiety and depression that these tense and unhappy states are highly self-focused. During stress or sadness, we are usually focused on the things that are going wrong in our own lives. Research shows that depression and anxiety are linked to a state of self-focus, a preoccupation with me, myself, and I. When you do something for someone else, however, that state of self-focus sometimes immediately dissolves. Think of a time you were feeling blue and suddenly a close friend or relative called you for urgent help with a problem. All of a sudden, your attention was on helping them. Rather than feeling blue, you began to feel energized, and before you knew it, you may even have felt better and had gained some perspective on your own situation as well. Research by Ed Diener and Martin Seligman suggests that connecting with others in a meaningful way helps us enjoy better mental and physical health, speeds up recovery from disease, and research by Stephanie Brown at Stony Brook University has shown that it may even lengthen our life. A life of meaning and purpose is one focused less on satisfying yourself and more on others. It is a life rich in compassion, altruism, and greater meaning. meaning. Did I say meeting? A greater meeting as well. But greater meaning, yeah. Today we have 4 members of our congregation, and this is my favorite part, who will be speaking on their own experiences with compassion and community. Sally Beckholt will start us off, followed by Mike Smith, Crystal Loving, and finally, Louise Alcorn will wrap up with a couple of quotes. So, welcome, Sally.
I almost just set this on my chair and didn't come up to say what I wrote because I was so drawn by the purple person story. So I want you to keep that in your mind as we share this morning. When Diane reached out to me about sharing a reflection, she suggested we consider the following question: what would it be like if we woke up one morning and our community was rich in compassion? Diane suggested I might explore this topic as it connects to my work with Amos, the community organizing collective to which our church belongs. In my response to her saying I'd like to participate, I also said, thanks for an intriguing take on compassion, which was shorthand for what would that look like? I feel like I need to preface my reflection with this exchange because it was both her question about waking up one morning in such a community and my response of intriguing that set me to thinking about the role of compassion in my own work in our community. For many years, I have volunteered with Amos as a member of First Unitarian Church. What is Amos? Amos is an organization which exists to build power among our citizens. We build power in order to bring about change to the systems and policies which affect our families and our neighbors. Amos members are institutions like our church. Our church and other member institutions serve as a vehicle for finding and developing people to help them discover their own passion and desire to learn, grow, and change our institutions and our communities. Amos also exists as a place to discover those systems which are causing pain for our families, and then, with our citizen leaders, to craft and implement solutions. That was a lot of definition, but for those of you who aren't familiar, I wanted to do that. As I've shared previously from this pulpit, my theology and what I believe Amos is about are about equal parts power and love, anger and imagination. So where does compassion fit in? A core way we build power together is by the practice of listening to the suffering of others. Listening. Amos does this in 2 primary ways: by encouraging our citizens to talk to one another one-to-one, and in small group meetings called house meetings, where we ask one another specific questions about issues and pain. The practice of one-to-one conversations is key to compassion building. When we share face-to-face with one another and practice listening and sharing our stories, we discover our commonalities and our passions. We do this with intention, to truly listen and become encumbered by one another's lives. I have built relationships within Amos which are honest, strong, and flexible, where accountability becomes second nature, and talking about power is never off limits. Listening in a house meeting creates a different, compassionate environment. In a house meeting, we focus on listening too. We don't focus on solving the problems which emerge. By our thoughtful attention, we are present, not numbing ourselves to another's pain or hurrying in with a quick solution for one person, one family. It is about the steady listening, holding in compassion the pain, and also being awake to the passion that is attached to that pain. Because it is the passion that will help us uncover what we might do to lessen pain, to correct policies, to build different, better systems. So what would it mean to wake up tomorrow morning in a community rich with compassion? Amos is named for the Old Testament prophet Amos, whose most famous line in the Bible is this: "But let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream." I believe that justice and righteousness must begin in listening, must begin in allowing for and truly hearing the lament of the community before we can begin to imagine what justice might look like. In a community rich in compassion, we'd be listening more. We'd see house meetings happening in all our churches and community centers, inside the walls of business and nonprofits, in coffee shops and on street corners, in the camps where our citizens without homes seek shelter, in our library meeting rooms. We'd be listening and then moving from there into action to address the pain we learn about together. We would act in the world as purple people.
I'm Mike Smith, an old member of this congregation, recently given a brand new magnetic key hymn name badge so I don't have to stab myself every time I try to put my name badge on. I'm here to talk to you, and I should get my watch out with, I hope, compassionate brevity, about why for 17 and a half years since I retired, I have volunteered for an organization called the Free Store, a local homegrown charity. I've asked myself that question several times over those 17 and a half years, maybe with different answers at different times. I was 44 when I joined this church in 1988, and I started doing volunteer work using some of my vacations, but it was about protecting wild places. It wasn't about compassion for less fortunate human beings, and I continued to do that sort of volunteer work. And I volunteered in this church. I told the minister when I joined that I didn't have any creative talent, and he immediately said, well, we need people on the finance committee. So that led to a period of volunteering here with various projects and events that in one way or another are all about shaking you all down for more money for the church. But so I fast forward to when I retired in 2008. It does something to your identity when you retire. I was a bridge player, I was a competitive bridge player, and I actually had the thought for a while that I may become a serious competitive bridge player. And then I learned something. I learned I wasn't nearly as good at bridge as I thought I was. So that sort of faded away. At the same time, an Episcopalian bridge player put his arm around me and said, Mike, I got plans for you. And the plans were to drive a truck picking up used furniture for the Free Store, about which I knew nothing. It was an outreach of the Episcopalian, St. Timothy's Episcopalian Church in West Des Moines. It was started by Episcopalians. Actually, their articles of incorporation mentioned religious purposes. But that organization has evolved over 20 years into a secular charity, and the primary mission is to provide furniture and household furnishings free to people in desperate need, people who are sleeping on the floor, have been homeless. And it's a niche organization, but there's so many others like it in this community that are primarily oriented toward helping the homeless. So why have I stayed with that this long? Because believe me, sometimes I get tired of talking. Sometimes I think people only want to talk to me about used furniture, and it does sometimes get tedious. But I tell you, I met this other group of volunteers there that it's just inspiring their passion and their compassion working together as volunteers. And I want to end with talking particularly about a member of this congregation who has become a personal hero to me. The Free Store was our Faith in Action, one of our Faith in Action partners last year And it wasn't due to me, it was due to Sue Huber. And I met Sue Huber at the Free Store. I didn't even know she'd been president of the congregation during probably one of our worst years, the first year of the pandemic. But I met her there, and I found out this woman with stage 4 lethal cancer just keeps giving to help other people. And there are a bunch of people in this room who volunteer once a month for the Free Store, continuing cadre of supporters, and it's because of Sue. She recruited them. And so I keep doing this because it's meant so much to me to meet the wonderful, caring people that do this. And I'm not here to proselytize you about the Free Store, but there's other work like that to be done. It could be Amos just as well, and it's enriched my life. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Crystal Loving, she, her. And I'm a person of threads as well, and why Sally talked about the book today. I think if you were here a couple weeks ago and Faith read the book about the rabbit, right? So this young child who was very sad, and finally the animal that came along was the rabbit and sat there. Maybe just try to keep that in mind. For me, that's been sort of a guiding piece for this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about compassion, and we've heard a couple definitions already, and if you've had your small group this month, whether it's small group ministry or if you're in Soul Matters, you've spent some time talking about compassion. And I'm a bit of a nerd for words, especially those that explain human behaviors or feelings or emotions. I think it kind of helps me understand and ground myself to some extent for myself, but also others. And if this is your jam, I highly recommend the book called Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. And that's sort of where I'm going to ground us today in talking about compassion. And her definition really starts with empathy, right? So we've talked about kindness today a little bit, but empathy, and she describes that as a process that involved taking another person's perspective, right? But in that, you're recognizing their emotions and you communicate that understanding back to them without judgment, right? And I think many of us can tap into this. And as Reverend Seek talked, it's not pity, of course, and it's also not sympathy, but we get to empathy, and we're tapping into those experiences. And I think as we've heard, compassion really, though, goes a step further than empathy. And that compassion works with empathy, but it involves this motivation to really relieve the suffering of others and to take action to help. And I think it's this part, the do something about it, that gets many of us or motivates many of us in our social justice work or any of our work in our community, and I know it does me. Because really, I would just say, put me to work, right? This is my skill set. What is my daily job is? What is the problem? How do we fix it? How do we alleviate this pain that might be in others? We know that there is no shortage of suffering in this world, in our nation, in our own communities, as Sally talked about, and Amos is one of those mechanisms. And I'm guessing many of you have that attitude, right? We can know the many of the people in this church that reach out and use their skills and talents or their time and energy really just to benefit our communities. So for me, I'm going to take a little bit of a turn, though, in that in compassion, there is also some suffering that is not ours to fix or solve in this traditional sense. And instead, the only thing I can do, the action that I can take, is to look inside myself and work to actually alleviate my own suffering as I bear witness to another's suffering. So many of us in this room have had this example because if you've raised children, you've had to do this, right? You have to watch your kid in suffering and know that that's about growing and learning and that you can't really fix it in the traditional sense because when you try to do that, you're actually driving disconnection instead of connection. The compassion that they actually need or the action is to really just walk alongside and not pave the path. Instead, I have to tend to my own feelings of suffering and watching my child struggle and deal with my own discomfort in doing that. I'm available, though, don't get me wrong, right? Because the minute they ask or want a suggestion or something, I'm there, but that's not what I'm there to do. And this has been really hard for me, right? As I get into teenagers, and thankfully, I have a very vocal daughter who will say, Mom, just stop trying to fix, just listen, right? And sometimes that's what you need back. She's really been great at that. So another space in my life that has taken time for me to learn how to exercise compassion is the sad reality of I was going to try really hard not to do this. Is loving someone an active addiction? I would not wish this family disease upon anyone. It can be ugly, unpredictable, frustrating, heartbreaking, and downright exhausting. But man, does it drive this desire to fix and solve for somebody else. There is nothing harder than watching somebody do something that you know, God damn it. Okay, deep breath. That is self-harm, but you can't fix it. You cannot change what another person is doing. And in all the powers I have, if I had them all, it would be getting an addict to stop using to start self-harming, but it's not what I have. So really, all I can do, just like with my children, is find a way to walk alongside. That is the compassion that I can give. In the reading this month on compassion, one of the quotes was by Thich Nhat Hanh and summed it up pretty well. When we come into contact with another person, our thoughts and actions should express our mind of compassion, even if that person says and does things that are not easy to accept. We practice in this way until we see clearly that our love is not contingent upon the other person being lovable. And boy, has this happened a lot. I have a brother that is living this now, and it's one of the hardest things to watch. But I have to add, that really often an addict's behavior isn't only unlovable, it can be harmful. And the addict in active addiction still has inherent worth and dignity. My compassion has had to be letting them exercise their own agency, no matter how destructive, and still turn towards love. I can neither control nor cure their disease. It would be nice if I could, but that's just not how life works. But I can learn to walk alongside. I can love them from a safe space, but I cannot make decisions for them. So here's the silver lining, if anyone's lived this and been lucky enough to find the space of Al-Anon or Nar-Anon meetings. So it's much like a house meeting, right? You go into this space and there are only people there who have shared experiences and pass no judgment. We sit in this circle, and honestly, this is where I really learned where compassion is exercised. The action of that compassion is really just sharing of love through shared experiences. There's no fixing me or my situation. There's no fixing the addict. There's only safe exchange, placing the heavy thing in the room for all to hold, which you all are getting to do right now for me, so thank you. It is tears and tissues, hugs and glances of understanding, and it is celebrating each other. It's an act of outward compassion and self-compassion, and honestly, for many, that compassion has been survival. So it has also enabled me to have compassion towards the addict. It's in those moments of connection, and when you have them, there is no space for anger, resentment, self-pity, or enabling. It gives the courage to exercise compassion for the addict, for them to seek their own for them to face their own losses and seek help when ready. It is realizing what is mine and what is not mine. It is most powerful. So in the prompt to be here today about what it would compassion look like in our community if we woke up tomorrow with it, I think it looks like just walking alongside. It's creating spaces in which we share to connect, but the doing is just in the loving. So I'll end in, here we're gonna get some more quotes from Louise, but in one of my favorite authors, Cheryl Strayed describes compassion as, compassion isn't about solutions, it's about giving all the love you've got. Thank you.
So, sorry, that was really good. I am just going to give you a couple quotes, and the reason I'm quoting others today is that compassion can also be exhausting. Self-compassion in particular. Reverend Steve talked about that last week or the week before, of being kind to oneself. And so I decided that instead of trying to come up with anything nearly as meaningful as Crystal's or Sally's or Mike's, I would instead look to smarter people than I to see what they had to say about compassion. And it reflects a lot of what Sally and Mike and Crystal talked about today. The first one is I'm such a nerd. I got to find a nerdy quote, right? Got to find a scientist or a physicist or something, whatever. So the first one's from Albert Einstein, of all people. A human being is part of a whole called by us the universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. I love that. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circles of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Not what you'd expect from a scientist. The question today is, what would it look like if we had compassion in the world? And one of the people who I believe lives an answer to that is the Dalai Lama. So I'm going to read a little from his. It's a beautiful piece called Compassion and the Individual. I recommend it. He says, "From my own limited experience, I have found that the greatest degree of inner tranquility comes from the development of love and compassion. The more we care for the happiness of others, the greater our own sense of well-being becomes. Cultivating a close, warm-hearted feeling for others automatically puts the mind at ease. This helps remove whatever fears or insecurities we may have and gives us the strength to cope with any obstacles we encounter. It is the ultimate source of success in life. As long as we live in this world, we are bound to encounter problems. If at such times we lose hope and become discouraged, we diminish our ability to face difficulties. If, on the other hand, we remember that it is not just ourselves, but everyone who has to undergo suffering, this more realistic perspective will increase our determination and capacity to overcome troubles. Indeed, with this attitude, each new obstacle can be seen as yet another valuable opportunity to improve our mind. Thus, we can strive gradually to become more compassionate. That is, we can develop both genuine sympathy for others' suffering and the will to help remove their pain. As a result, our own serenity and inner strength will increase. Ultimately, the reason why love and compassion bring the greatest happiness is simply that our nature cherishes them above all else. Love and compassion. The need for love lies at the very foundation of human existence. It results from the profound interdependence we all share with one another. When I walked in today, for some reason my eye was caught by our standing on the side of love banner on our building. And I realized that that's my favorite thing when I come in, is to see that. However capable and skillful an individual may be, left alone, he or she will not survive. However vigorous and independent one may feel during the most prosperous periods of life, when one is sick or very young or very old, one must depend on the support of others. Interdependence. From the day we are born, the need for human affection is in our very blood. Ultimately, humanity is one, and this small planet is our only home. If we are to protect this home of ours, each of us needs to experience a vivid sense of universal altruism. It is only this feeling that can remove the self-centered motives that cause people to deceive and misuse one another. That's also from Al-Anon. Who knew the Dalai Lama is Unitarian? If you have a sincere and open heart, you naturally feel self-worth and confidence, and there is no need to be fearful of others. I believe that at every level of society, familial, tribal, national, and international, the key to a happier and more successful world, and this is the question we're asking today, is the growth of compassion. We do not need to become religious, nor do we need to believe in an ideology. He really is Unitarian. All that is necessary is for each of us to develop our good human qualities. I try to treat whoever I meet as an old friend. This gives me a genuine feeling of happiness, and it is the practice of compassion. Thank you. Now rise if you are able, and join in singing the closing hymn in the gray hymnal, number 125.
From the crush of wealth and power, something broken in a soul waits the Spirit's silent hour, pleading with a poignant call. Bind all my wounds again. Even now our hearts are weary of the friend we need so much. When I see the pain you carry, shall I with a gentle touch bind all your wounds again? When our love for one another makes our burdens light to bear, find the sister and the brother hungry for the feast we share. Bind all their wounds again. Every time our spirits languish, terrified to draw too near, may we know each other's anguish, and with love that casts out fear, bind all our wounds again.
Please join me in saying the extinguishing chalice words in your order of service or on the screen. As we extinguish this chalice, we give thanks for this time we shared to connect with one another and within ourselves. May we go forth with compassion and loving kindness for one another and for ourselves.
Go with eyes to see the complexity of the other person. Go with ears to listen to their story. Go in compassion. Go in love.
Soul of truth, eternal goodness, sojourn with us as we part. Fill our minds with high endeavor. Keep us just and pure in heart. Strengthen us for daily duty. Guide us by the inward light. Hallowed be each coming morning. Calm and peaceful peace.
As this live stream from First Unitarian Church comes to an end, remember that previous live streams can be found on our YouTube channel. We'd love to see you in person someday. Until then, thanks for joining us.